Texas is well known around the country, if not the world, for its cattle industry. According to the TexasAgriculture.gov website, Texas is home to 13 million cattle and calves. The beef cattle industry is huge here, but how did it get here? Cattle drives have been a part of Texas history ever since the province of Tejas was formed by Spain. Spain had brought more colonists to the area along with 4,800 head of cattle. When the Spanish missions were abandoned, the cattle thrived in the area and roamed throughout eastern and southern Texas. As the years went by, private citizens began to round up the loose cattle and were able to find ways to have a cattle drive. These cattle were brought to a large city and then sold at market. This allowed Texas to recover better from the Civil War as the demand for beef grew. Large cattle populations were already in Texas, but in order to bring the cattle to market, cowboys had to round up the bovines and march them on cattle trails. It is well known that the people herding these trails were called cowboys. What is relatively unknown is that 25% of the cowboys that worked on these trails were African American. Also, quite a few cowboys were of Mexican and Native American descent. Now, there are 4 famous cattle trails. The most known is the Chisholm Trail that can start in San Antonio, goes through Fort Worth, and ends in Abilene or Ellsworth, Kansas. The Sedalia and Baxter Springs Trail, also known as the Shawnee Trail, begins in Austin, but it veers east when it passes Waco to go through Dallas and links up to Kansas City or Sedalia, Missouri. The Western Trail would stretch from Brownsville, Texas, go all the way up to Dodge City, Kansas, and then would go further to Ogallala, Nebraska, which is connected to the Transcontinental Railroad. The last trail is the Goodnight Loving Trail. It would start in an area that is near modern-day San Angelo, Texas, but would curve around the Texas South Plains and Panhandle and ride along the Pecos River, and this trail would ultimately reach Denver, Colorado. These trails were huge in helping Texas grow. These trails are huge in helping Texas getting their identity attached to the image of cowboys. No, not those cowboys. Ugh, don't get me started on them because I could ramble for. Oh, no, I digress. The real cowboys. When the railways arrived in more Texas cities and the cattle trails ended, Texas was still the king of cattle, even to this day in the United States.